Welcome everybody to Love Speaks Love. I'm going to introduce Rebecca in a second. I'm just going to share this and make sure we are live. Yes. Oops. Wrong one. Yes. We are. So I'll turn my sound down. Put you in there. I'm just going to share it to a few places. All right. Oh, my tech brain isn't quite. My brain is in a different place.
Oh, warm weather, I think, today.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Mm.
I was out by the stream before. Yeah, just bear with us. Right, I'll share it there. Hopefully Ion is around so that we can, I think it's gone to, I think it might be in Sology. That's good. Share it there, there. Shall I share it to your little group as well? Yes, I think I shall. Oops, too loud.
Yes. And before you start, my neighbours seem to be very happy today and are playing some music in the back garden. Can you hear it where you are? Because if you can, I'll shut my window.
I can't hear it.
No, you're okay. I'll leave it open then.
But I've got my fan on as well. So I'll just, if anyone's watching and it is coming through the window, just let us know. Okay, we have a few people watching. Okay, take my glasses off. So I'll introduce you a little bit more in a second, but I'm just going to connect all of our hearts together. So if anybody wishes to, if you wish to close your eyes and bring your awareness to your heart space, breathing in love and breathing out love, and letting the love in your heart expand up to your throat, your third eye, your crown, and down to your solar plexus, sacral, and base. And connecting our hearts to the heart of Gaia, to the heart of the sun, to the heart of Source Creator. And as we breathe in love, feeling that love spreading to every cell of our bodies, and feeling my heart connecting to yours, Rebecca, as well, and connecting to everyone watching live, or on the replay, or on YouTube. And visualizing a beautiful web of golden energy, golden light and love, spreading all over the globe, connecting all of our hearts, and sending love to all beings on the planet, to all of the creatures of the air, the earth, the waters, and sending love to all of the trees and the plants, to the elementals, the galactics, and the beings of inner earth. So taking a few long and slow deep breaths, still breathing in love. And when we're ready, just opening our eyes. Oh, I could stay there all day. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce this wonderful woman, Rebecca WiIliams, to everybody. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
It's really lovely to have you here.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. It's been a while, isn't it?
I think it's a year.
Yeah.
Almost. I think it was summer. It was in a few weeks, I think. Because I remember it was just before I was going to some local, what would you describe them as? I went to the Standing Stone.
I remember. Yeah.
And we connected. Was it the day before? And I think I let you know that I was doing it, and you were really feeling the energy as well, weren't you?
Yeah. 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 And then, because I think you'd not long as then visited York, and we got onto the conversation on realizing how close we actually lived and what work you had been doing in a certain part of Yorkshire, and then the work I'd been doing in a different part of Yorkshire. So it was quite lovely to find out really that the whole of Yorkshire was being covered really by the pair of us.
Yeah.
It was and amongst others, I'm sure. But yeah, it was quite nice to realise that.
Yeah, because I think I'd like seen your name around, and Todd had mentioned you a few times, and I just assumed you were American. And then somehow I saw that you were in Yorkshire, and I was like, what? What?
I'm British from the UK. Yeah, but I think I'm very blessed the day that I moved up to Yorkshire. It is just a place of beauty. No matter where you go, really, you always find beauty. It's just so. From where I'm from Barnsley in Yorkshire, and it's an old coal mining place, so it's got a slower pace to it anyway. And I actually think it's going to work in the advantage in the long run because it's not quite up to date as other areas, and but then they're going to have to change because everything's changing. That we've got a bigger gap and a bigger thing to say, well, we haven't modernized this for so long that we can modernize it into something completely different. And it's still got so many old morals to it. It's a simple place to be, and I like it.
Yeah, so is it, have you got a lot of the old stone houses as well?
Yes, yeah, all around, and so many places. I mean, the one place that I go to locally is so powerful to me, that I'm working, that's my base. I work from this one particular place. I'm working out then on the grid, from this place. And it works in all directions out. And I already know that from one of those places, I'll then get my next guidance from there, but I'm not there yet. But I know it will come when I get there. But you go with, I go with my intuition. And I've had a few months where I've done absolutely no grid work, but then my dad passed. So I've had a whole new learning experience, and I've learned actually my main thing at the moment is to show up. I've just, whatever I'm doing, just show up.
Nice. Nice. And when you say show up, can you expand on that? Do you mean kind of as your authentic as you?
So, yeah, to show up. So it's whether I'm going to go outside. I'm not just going to go outside and just be like, I'm going to show up. If I'm wanting to do something like this live today, I'm going to show up as myself. Because I've had so many years where you overthink things, you go down that rabbit hole. So I think my main thing at the minute to keep things very simple for me is show up. Just show up and do it.
Nice. Yeah, I've only been in Yorkshire for 3 years, and I kind of associated Yorkshire with industrial places, really.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how beautiful it is around here. Like, it's
Or
just
how big.
yeah. Yeah, it's the biggest county in the country.
Yeah,
And
we're
it goes all
quiet.
the way really from east to west
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I think it's gaining a. This is what I'm feeling. It's gaining an equal energy, or there's like a there's an energy that's building underneath everything in Yorkshire at the moment. And I don't feel that at the top end of the country or the bottom end of the country for some reason. I'm feeling it, and as I'm speaking, I'm goosing. That it's there's something that will come very powerful. It'll become like the new heart center of our countries. I do believe it will be Yorkshire. There'll be a very powerful spot in Yorkshire that it will be. I think the Stonehenge will always be the Stonehenge, but I'm talking something even more different to that. It's going to take something into that crystalline Christ consciousness, really advancing, really progressing, quite magical. I feel that in the place that I go, it's like it's built on an old coal mine. It's got water either side of it. It's got the elements, and I do feel that there's a crystalline core change going on here, and that's why it's my base, and I work from that base. So it's time will tell. I'm in my 4th year of visiting it now, so I just can't seem to shift it. I have to keep going. That hill's massive when I want to get to the top. I keep going. So it's intuition is a very powerful thing, isn't it? But it's like a muscle. I think we can
Yeah.
doubt it, but the more you use it, the more you can't deny it.
And I really, I think we said this when we first spoke, that I've always said this as well. It feels like the energy is really strong, but it's beneath the surface. Um, and yeah, that's totally what I feel as well. And even the Yorkshire Moors, like there's something very special about the Yorkshire Moors as
Yeah.
well. And I'm really quite close to the Moors. It's very untouched land. And that to me seems to have kept the energy quite pristine
The
there.
energy, yes. Yeah. I've only been the moors my end. I haven't been a bit further out. But the moors that I've been to this end is the energy is I can't quite find a word. It it is what you say. It hasn't got the hustle and bustle. It hasn't got many memories involved. It hasn't got any much disturbance involved in the energy. It is quite a it's like a vessel. You know, if I'm out walking and it is a place like that, I find it to be it's a vessel area. It's so easy to get your messages through. There's not much, sort of in the way to use as a resistance.
Yeah, yeah. And I totally agree with you there. Um, I was going to say something else as you were saying that, and it's gone. What was it? Yeah, about the crystalline grids as well. It it feels like they're really strong. I feel quite a bit of rose quartz energy around here, but even not tapping into particular kind of crystals, it does feel like the crystalline structure beneath the ground. And I think this is the work that you and I are both doing as
Yeah.
well with the crystalline frequencies, kind of bringing more crystalline frequencies in, but also waking up the crystalline frequencies that are there. It's like they've been dormant.
Yes, yes. It's like I feel that there's a transformation going on, but underneath that transformation, there's something that's always been there.
Mm.
And that's what, and again, I get what I call my truth bumps, so just absolutely just shot through me. I do feel that they're rumbling, they're coming, they're rumbling, they're being activated
Yeah,
slowly but surely. I mean, I find it, I say I've had a few months where I haven't really done anything. But I find, and I don't know whether you do sometimes, that you repeatedly have to go back on the same walk and you've no idea why. You have to walk the same route, but you do know why deep down. It's the energy of you, it's the vessel of the
yeah,
energy of you that's walking this route, or you're, and not just like, I'm here again. Why am I here again? I actually set off that way. And then I'd be like, okay. There's obviously more work to be done.
Mm.
That's where I get enjoyment from it, because I know I'm working from the truth. So there's a lot. I mean, how many of us are doing this work as well? It's absolutely incredible. How many more are waking up to do this work? You know, it's not something I was ever into. I didn't ever just research on one grids or anything. It's just part of my awakening. I knew. I didn't research it. I didn't read about them. I just suddenly knew. And I knew how they were changing. I knew how it's all going to be like a flower of life crystal grid that's going to be coming and changing. You know, so it's lovely. It's lovely to be in that place.
Yeah, I hear you. And when you were first talking about the energy here, I felt really teary as well. And that was like my truth bumps as well. It was like, whoa, I could really feel the emotion in that as well. And it's really quite an honour and a privilege to be doing the work that we're doing as well. And to be, I just love making all these connections that we're making. And I'm learning of more people in Yorkshire. Like at first, you know, it felt like there was only me, and then you kind of get to know that there's a few others. So I know there's quite a lot of people doing this work and doing the deeper work as
Yeah,
well. And it's really beautiful that we're starting to gather.
it is. Because I mean, there was such a long period of time of my life where there wasn't anyone to resonate with, and there wasn't anyone that felt life like I did. And it's only been in more recent years where this wonderful thing called technology has opened the doors where I think, oh my gosh, you know, they feel like I do, or they've had the same experience as I have. And the the, the confidence in your own testimony is powerful when you can resonate with other people that feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you say to some people, you know, I go around and I do grid work, and you know, they look at me, go, now I just say nothing now. I just keep very quiet and just do my work. But I've often, because I moved up from the Midlands of this country to Yorkshire, and there's been over the 11 years, believe me, there's been many reasons why I would want to leave Barnsley, whether it be on personal bases or whether I should through health or lots of different reasons. I just can't go.
Mm.
My heart will just not let me go, and I know that's because I haven't finished doing what I'm supposed to be. And how I ended up here in the first place, that was never a thing that I dreamt of. It was you know, so life really does put you where you need to be. Yeah, and to feel your own testament of that, it's encouraging to your own intuition. And I would encourage everybody else when they feel these things and they think, I knew that, is then don't just go, I knew that, and just forget about it. Let it really take you. You know, you knew that, yes, you did. You know, and then it gets stronger and stronger, and you just see life differently, and you start to the truths of life become so natural to you that you almost start living in that truth, and it feels alien to you to not live in that truth. And that's become my mission now, is to live in the truth that I already know, because I feel disloyal to myself when I don't. You know better, and not just by what I might have been taught or by morals. I mean, I actually do know. I know better because, you know, you feel it. I know it. It's it's a lot more comfortable journey now than it has been for the past 10 years, I'd say. So I'm ready to do a lot more exploring with it now and gain a bit of confidence and meet a few people.
So when was your awakening? How when did that kind of start for you?
The
And
powerful one, 2011, around 2010, 2011. But I think I've always been, well, not think, I know I always have been, you know, right from a child, I used to look at the world and think, why are you treating people like that? Because I used to feel how people felt. As a child, I didn't understand it at all. Not one bit, because I didn't know what it was. You know, my mom would be, "You're so sensitive," and but I felt what everybody was like would be feeling. But you've really just hurt that person. I'd feel it. I looked at the world very confused throughout my whole childhood, and it wasn't really until a few bumpy life experiences and knowing myself that I started to realize what I was feeling. I was actually feeling what other people were feeling. So, and from that moment, my life made a lot more sense. And I've managed to figure it out and figure how to be in society as well, that was a challenge for me. It still is, to be fair. Because you walk into a room and I feel if someone doesn't like you, you feel that. And ultimately the other way around, you know. So but it's much more comfortable now, because I don't have attachments with it. And I think that was the key. Once you let go of the attachments that come with feeling everything, it's a lot easier. If everything you feel and you add an attachment to it, you're never going to like yourself, you're never going to like the world, and you're just going to be very, very confused. So I just find to just not get attached in a sort of heartless, emotionless way, not at all, because that's the point of it. I'm feeling you. You just have to then learn to just let it flow through you rather than hold on to it. And that was a massive challenge for me.
Was it a particular event that triggered your awakening, or was it kind of a spontaneous?
Trauma, actually, yeah. A lot of trauma going on in my life at the time. And I often remember saying to my youngest son, "Oh, I can't take anymore." And then I used to say to him, "I wonder what will happen if you actually can't take anymore." And I went into full-blown psychosis, and it was from leading up to that experience. I had a few powerful experiences, but then there was definitely a period where I was definitely crazy. I had definitely lost my mind there. But then when I'd got myself back again, the awakening continued in a balanced way. So it's just, now I'm left with not so much of the most powerful, wonderful, bizarre experiences, but just knowings that come out of nowhere that I just know. I just will know something. So I don't necessarily get the whole profoundness of it, which I'm happy about, because I'd be so scared I'd be going back into psychosis. I'd be like, no. So I'm quite happy now. I just know things, and I feel it in a much gentler way.
So along the line there, would you say that there was a Kundalini awakening for you?
Definitely.
And
definitely. I know when that exactly was. I was cleaning middle of the night. I wanted to clean the bedroom. I wanted to clean the bedroom, but really clean the bedroom. And something took over me. And I don't do yoga. I've never practiced yoga. It's something I want to do, but I've not ever. My life's been, I'm ready, and it's something I'm looking forward to doing. But this one particular night, I put the bed up to the wall because I was doing the carpet and everything, so it was really clear. And I was quite, something. I just started to move, and it started, and I was rolling around the floor. I was doing these moves, and the minute I got scared, I felt this, because I don't hear spirit. I feel, so I feel, and I just felt this. It's okay. So once I relaxed again, it continued, and when I stood up, I felt like I literally was floating off the floor when it was all over, and the truth is all over again. And so that was my moment that everything was different. I started to smell things differently. I saw things differently. The way things grew were different to me. If I looked at a potato, it looked different to me. I could see more elements in that potato. I could see, as crazy as I know that sounds. But yeah, that was the most powerful, I think, for me. Yeah.
And was that before the psychosis, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah.
I think the psychosis had come in a period of life where the trauma there was a bit of emotional trauma involved in that point. So the awakening was happening, and then my life went, I lost my hair, I lost my relationship, my house, my car, everything kind of. I lost my identity. Then I went into psychosis, so I lost my dignity. So I do believe, looking back, it was meant to happen. I was meant to be stripped completely and utterly. It wasn't pretty. And I don't ever want to have to go through it again. I'm still breathing to tell the tale.
Yeah.
But looking back now, it was I was obviously meant to be stripped bare. I had to find myself completely again, because my children, after the psychosis, you do what you want best for your children, so they lived with a father, and then I didn't see it fair that to bring them back up, so I didn't have the identity of being a mother even, I had to completely and utterly, and it's took me a good 4 or 5 years to get that little bit of identity, this is who I am.
Yeah.
It's been a journey.
And I feel a lot of what you say. Sometimes when there's so much strong energy coming in, if there's not a groundedness with that, or there's not, it's like, and sometimes it's that the trauma has to come out, that we have to deal with the trauma. It's like we're kind of like pushing the trauma down as well.
Yeah.
In which case it needs to be dealt with. So it's kind of just coming up to be seen and dealt with. But I wonder sometimes when there's so much strong energy coming in, when if people are not fully grounded, it's kind of blows the circuitry a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think because it was quite a beautiful awakening I was enjoying, until obviously I was not grounded, I was traumatized. Yeah, I believe that, and things I've heard, because obviously going through it, you speak to people that have gone through sort of the same, and it is, yeah, it's something else that people feel as well with that.
Yeah.
But then after that, I was grateful just to feel normal, to be honest. But that took time.
And it's about having a foot in both worlds, I think, as well, because you know the world that I visit, that I'm aware of, the world of the elementals, the fairies, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people would say that's crazy, but it's like you have a foot in both worlds, almost like you're in the astral layer, but you're not fully in it. And I wonder as well sometimes when people kind of tip over that line, it's like both feet are in the other world, and they've lost their grounding in this world, in this kind of reality.
Yes, yeah. I relate to that. I relate to that at the moment, because I'm trying to balance at the moment of being a human, which you are, and then this spiritual being that can open up quite vastly. When I've got the intention, I'm in the right way. I am a complete open vessel in that respect, for the galactics, for spirit, I'm an open vessel. But and then it is hard, isn't it, to balance that I'm living a human experience,
Yeah.
but then I know so much and I feel so much of that other foot, that other side of it, and
Yeah.
to find that balance as well. Yeah, I do. It can certainly pull somebody off the track.
And I think just keeping, and this goes along with being grounded as well, um, remembering to sleep enough, remembering to eat properly as well, because sometimes when the energy is so strong, we can feel quite hyper and quite charged. So you
Yeah.
just want to keep on going and just keep going and keep going and keep going until your body just kind of like shuts down and goes, no, I need to rest.
That seems a familiar pattern. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it does. But then I have times as well, if I feel that I'm not balanced, I tend to shut myself off then. If I feel like, oh, I'm not balanced, I'm aware of it myself, I
Yeah.
just completely and utterly shut away.
Yeah.
And even to the people that I'm living with, not horribly or in a way, but just till I've got myself back on track, until I know that I'm in that right balanced mind, because I don't agree with inflicting sort of what, just because I feel everything, and I might come having a day when my head's hectic, my body's reacting to this, it's feeling what what so and so's feeling across there. Well, now my shoulder hurts because and it gets to a point that I have to just switch off at that point, and it's only then when I feel I'm totally back to me, I feel a fair then that I can sort of interact and bring everybody else back into my energy. Because it can work both ways. My energy can inflict on other people. So you have to find out where it is. I get lost sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that sounds amazing to just know, to go, okay, enough, and just, you know, pull the curtains a little bit, and then
Yeah.
and then say, right, time out, time for me now.
Yeah, that works for me. I mean, everybody else, they've got different ways that they balance themselves, but I find for me to totally just go away, find where it is, whether it's a walk, sit in the bedroom, just take myself away from everything else. And then I usually very quickly at that point, then I'm like, right, okay, now here I am, this is me, I'm going to go and show back up.
So you work a lot with the crystalline frequencies. Do you so I work with the crystalline frequencies of energy, but I also work a lot with crystals as well, with actual crystals.
Yeah,
Same with you?
I use I'm not so heavy on I do use the crystals, but I will buy, it's the same kind of crystal, I'll buy them in bulk. So when I go out and I do my crystal work, it's always the same. They're not the shiniest, they're not the best. They might be a bit chipped off the end, but it's the intention that I put into them before, before I leave to do whatever. And then there's always a second intention when I'm actually at the spot of where I am. And I never know what that is until I'm at the spot where I know that this is what I've got to do and where I am. But a lot of it's by where we are, it's by our intentions. The crystals for me are like a catalyst. I feel they just can make that intention stronger. They can make that place where you're standing, that presence while you're there. I feel it'll just leave it there stronger. But I don't feel they're necessary. I just feel that they just add together with what the intentions we can already place there just by our frequency. But yeah, I use the same one, and I buy them in bulk.
Yeah.
I've got my own special ones that I'll never take outside because I love them too much.
Do you leave them in the ground?
Yes,
Yeah.
some I throw. I get an urge to throw northeast, southwest.
Oh,
Simple.
wow.
I
Yeah.
just get an urge to do it, and then there's always one in each place I have to plant. Have to put it under. But then the others, I just get the urge. It's just northeast, southwest from that one that I've put.
So when you're doing your grid work, because I think we've all got our, I don't know if we tend to do things the same way or if we've all got our own ways of doing things. What does that kind of look like for you? How do you do the grid work aside from the crystals? Is it just a matter of bringing the energy through your body so that it goes into the earth? Do you use light language as well when you're doing the grid work?
Do you know, it's the only time actually when I'm walking up the hill that I mentioned, it's the only time I'm able to speak it. It doesn't, whether, I'm in an environment maybe more at home, I do a bit more meditation, maybe it'll come through, naturally then. But the actual time I speak, it's walking up this one particular hill. And it's never on the way back down, it's always on the way up, because I always go up the one way and I come back down like a different way. All matters, because that's the way I'm told to, sort of to do it. But what it looks like to me is I feel it. I feel the frequency. I feel where the purpose of it working through me. So it's about the frequency. So it's nothing special about me. It's about the frequency that I'm carrying. It's about that reacting with the grids behind, and there's more of us that are all doing it.
Yeah.
And they're moving. We all know this anyway, but they're shifting. I know that, was it 5-6 years ago, it was to break up the grid. It was to dissolve the old grid.
Yeah.
That's changed now. It's gone from dissolving the old grid now, and it's gone from building and bringing up the new grid. So it's a knowing and a visual. But then I do use my stones as it's a bit like a catalyst, I suppose. I like to think that I'm magnifying the intention that I'm placing with them.
For me, a lot when I first came here, a lot of the work I did was in the old churches here,
Yeah,
and it was taking out the distortion of the energy in the churches. But it was also connected to the inverted matrix, and I think that's what you were meaning by breaking it down as well.
yeah,
It's like the distorted, inverted matrix to kind of, and I would see it like curling up, like unraveling it. And to me, what I do, it's like the original matrix, the organic, pure matrix, is deep in the ground, and but also bringing in new frequencies. Some of them galactic, some of them just higher frequencies, and it's like you're merging the new frequencies with the pure original matrix.
yeah. That's what I'm feeling at the moment. The one that's the under one, that I'm saying has always been there.
Yeah.
It's changed from dissolving the, sort of the matrix now to bringing up the frequencies to meet into that new grid. But yeah, I see them for some reason as well. I see them pink.
Oh.
I know. I see them as just pink at the moment, whereas before they weren't a colour. But now when I go to do my grid work, they're in my mind. I've got to do it. It's not, I don't see a pattern or anything. It's just pink. Wherever I've got to walk, I just feel that it's like a pink trail. I'm walking. I know.
I like that. Is that like a kind of, like when you said it, I saw like a cerise pink. Is it kind of,
Yes.
yeah?
Yeah.
Because one of the frequencies I'm working with a lot now is like a rose gold, which is like a kind of pink gold, but more like a rose gold.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. And are you aware of working with dragons?
Yes. If there's any galactic aspects, it's dragon that works through me for sure. I feel that energy. I wouldn't say I work with them, but I think that's my choice. They're trying to work with me. And I'm kind of like, not yet. I feel them, they guide me. But maybe that's my barrier at the moment. So since my dad's passed, it's been a few months where I'm feeling them again, definitely since past 3 months. Just before my live with the live with Todd that I did, just before then, I started to really feel the dragon energy again, like they give me a kick up the bum, like, hear me. I'm like, hey. So, but I do. And I also find that the dragon energy works really well with children.
Ah.
Really well with children.
So tell me more about that. Expand on that if you
I have a stepson that I live with, and obviously my youngest son of my own as well. And both of those, when they're saying the colours that when they're talking spiritual, because I'm so blessed that I have got two little ones in my life that are actually, they feel it. It's all the dragon, it's all the energy. And with Curtis, got him a pack of the dragon energy cards, and he feels them, the colours he feels, and he'll tell me, I had a dream last night, and tell me what colours were coming out of this dream. And I feel they work really well with the children, just by what they are, the colours, and not necessarily do the children understand the energies, the feeling the energies, and I might necessarily understand them yet. So I do think they're fantastic to be around the children, to influence, even if we've got our children ourselves. We don't want them to be too involved in that kind of stuff, but then we can certainly put the dragon energy around them. It's a strong but simple galactic energy, very bold.
And I think children are much more open to the idea of dragons as well.
Yeah, it just seems to be at first, I would have thought, oh, it's because it's dragons and this, that, but when you start feeling, they're feeling the colours, they're telling they're telling me, and I'm like, okay, okay. They're dreaming there, you know. So it's yeah. I wonder how our new generations are spiritually going to be. I already know in my heart, but I wonder what it's going to be like to see people. It's like we were born with gifts,
Mm.
but we didn't understand them for a long time, and we didn't have anyone necessarily to explain them to us. You know, but I just think there's going to be a whole new world coming in where they don't need to be explained. They're going to come in with the knowing that the knowing's going to be there already. It's not going to be an awakening as such. They're going to be born awakened, and there's going to be more and more and more and more, and the new world, there it goes.
Yeah, and I think yeah, they have a knowing, don't they? That they have an innate knowing about things, and a lot of children are teaching their parents.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I love that humble feeling. You know, when I see, for me, it's either when I see the very elderly, or when children have literally just humbled me, or they have really taught something that's made me stand back. I love that humble feeling, because you nobody knows everything. You know, I'm a good seeker. If I seek, I shall find, and that's because I've got the faith in my heart, and it's never let me down. So, you know, but it is a lovely feeling.
And my feeling as well with a lot of you know, like people in their 20s as well, they know things that I didn't know at that age. You know, they're a lot more aware of emotions and feelings, and they just have this wisdom, this knowing. And it's like previous generations had to go through the lessons, as it were, had to kind of
Yeah,
not learn the hard way exactly, but go through certain things to know things.
yeah.
And maybe this is like the 100 monkey theory, that because so many of us now know that stuff, then those coming after, just it's just innate in them. It's just they're either absorbing that knowledge.
Or it's confirming it to what they already know. It's confirming it, so they believe in it. I mean, a lot of the children now, their ideologies of society, and thank goodness, but they're objecting. You know, they're going, "This is not
Yeah,
something not right about that." And I love to see that, because they're the ones that have got the power to change it in the future. That even, you know, because you think we're used to society changes, and we're all just going, well, that's what happens. But I'm noticing more and more of the youngsters coming in. It's like, oh, we don't like that. We're gonna, you know, we're changing that. They're more willing to protest.
yeah, 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 definitely. And not just accept the status quo as, well, it's always been like this is how it is, or even the authority as well, um, that respect is kind of not an automatic thing because someone's in a position of power.
Yeah, but it's an equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm just going to read out what Teal Guadalupe has put. There's also someone who I've seen on Sology, Andy, the HORR.
Yeah.
He's he's in Yorkshire as well. I wonder if this is who she's referring to.
Ah.
There's a lovely man from your area who has mapped all the ley lines. I watched him last month and he's also named them. Ah, I can't recall his name at the moment or exactly where, but he noted the dragon lines that I'm feeling are significant to you both. Yeah, interesting. And to me, the dragon lines are the energy lines. Like it's there's so many words for them in Australia. They're called the song lines.
Yes. Yeah.
But I feel they're all the same, and I feel that it was the dragons who put the original lines in
Yeah.
as well.
They're definitely the main source of influence right now.
Yeah,
That's for sure. The- Definitely trying to get my attention.
Sheila, if you remember who that is, let us know. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Sheila's been writing some lovely comments. You are an amazing light bearer, Rebecca. Thank you for your courageous heart.
Oh, bless. Thank you. If I can't read the comments, I apologise. I'm on my phone. They don't come up.
That's all right.
I'll read them all after, though, of course.
Yeah, thank you. Do you work with the waters as well? Do you do like healing or anything on the waters?
These are all things that I get intuitions and pulls and knowledge about, but not anything I've actively worked on. It's funny, I was only having a conversation last night about how I've been pulled for years that I need to go down to St. Michael's Mount at the bottom of the country, need to get in the water, have to get in the water there, which is terrifying for me anyway, but I have to get in the water there, and then I have to go to France, and I have to go to St. Michael's Cathedral in France and do a similar thing there. And the funny thing about that is I actually went on a school trip as a child to that same place in France. So I found it all again like, ooh, goosey. So I think there's definitely some connection with my energy of why I need to do this. Maybe it'll become more apparent when I'm kind of nearer the time that I've got to do it. But I've known for years that it'll be done. And maybe it's when the grids are a little bit more up running, then I have to go back and do whatever I'm needed to do. But with water, where do you start? Water, it's full of knowledge, it's full of power. There's so much, but I haven't actually I don't use water, I just know so much about it and the power that it's got in it and the knowledge. But these are all things I'm looking forward to, sort of in my future to explore. But do you work with water?
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of work on
Have you? Do you find it? Because even the place that I go to, my special place, it's got water either side of this hill. And I have to walk past it, and I feel it. I can feel the water, but I just, I don't get anything after that. Should I be doing something with you? Should I be blowing you a kiss, just smiling? I don't get anything that I should be. But I know it's important that there is water there for this place. So how do you utilize yours?
It's usually with light language.
Oh, I see.
With the water. And I've done, quite a lot of global calls, sending energy to the water as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously, we are water. We're more than 78% water. And the water holds the memory as well. So it holds the memory of everything that's ever been, because, it gets recycled, it's lifted up into the air, and it's the element that kind of like links everything together as well, I feel.
Yeah. I get excited because it's like I know it all. It's like, yay! I feel the power of water for sure.
And I feel like the waters of the womb, it's like the waters kind of got so dirty on the planet. So for me, it's been more cleansing the water, but also activating it as well, like activating the water so it takes the water to the next level.
Yeah, I'm feeling that truth. From you talking.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's definitely you're activating water. So yeah, oh yeah,
And
lovely.
my feeling is that even though not intentionally, the work that you're doing on that hill is filtering into the water anyway.
The stream runs down the hill and then goes into these two pieces of water at the side. But it's a man-made hill and it's got a stream, beautiful stream that goes down. It's quite, yeah, but it's built on an old coal mine. I've definitely I walk a lot of places, and like yourself, I've been drawn to castles and churches and just derelict walls and just all sorts of different places. But this one, I've never quite felt the energy that I feel at this place.
Yeah.
So,
and the old pagan sites, like the beauty of the churches around here, they're so old, and they were built on the original pagan sites as well. And they tended to have water by them, like water was And I'm getting that it's water underneath as well, that actually water may well run under them. But the old pagan sites always had water running there. And that was one thing I wanted to say about something special about the energy here and the water here, is that it actually comes up through the ground. There are some places, there's one special church here, and sometimes there is a stream. Most of the time it's dry, but spontaneously this stream appears and it comes up out of the ground, and then it just runs. And it's not, from what I hear, it's not necessarily related to rain either.
No.
So a lot of the water here, a lot of the special places that I go to, you can see it kind of bubbling up through the ground, and suddenly there's more water after this spot than there is before, and that's because it's coming up through the ground.
But it's funny that you should say that, because it's to get back onto where I left my grid work before my dad passed and stuff. There's two churches that I know is part of my list. So the fact that you've mentioned that, because I've been thinking, it was only past 2 or 3 days, I've been thinking, where should I start next? I've got about 5 places to go. So now my intuition, I'll start with the churches, the 2 churches that I will do. I'll even look out for some water.
Yeah, nice.
That would be good.
And you write light language as well, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
So how does that work for you? Like, do you suddenly just know it's time to do it?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm at the moment, I'm getting the urge again on new moon every month to do it, but I'm ignoring it because, there's this much and I'm that much and I'm just having a few months, or, and I'm just stepping back up now. But yeah, I can't just sit down and say, hey, today I'm going to write some light language. No, it comes out like, no, I have to be, you just feel in the zone. I just get pulled into this zone, and then it just flows. It just comes out that way. Or mostly I know when I'm drawing a picture that there'll be light language in it, but it'll be the last thing that I'll put on it.
Yeah.
So I'll just put it out of my head until I get there, and then I'm off. But maybe in time, and I start to do a lot of my practices again and get my crystal work on the go again, and it's certainly something that will probably progress. And
What kind of pictures do you draw?
I don't know how to describe them. I don't know how to describe them. There is no picture to it. Numbers will come to my head, shapes will come to my head. I have no idea how the picture's going to come together, because I can't draw. I can't draw to say not at all. I'm atrocious. But it pulls together. But when I'm doing it, certain things will mean certain things. So I always get a very powerful one in August every year. Lionsgate, for some reason, for me is hugely powerful. And then I've got all sorts going on, and it's so there's meanings in it, but I don't know what I would actually describe my pictures as. They're not even expressions as such. They just are.
Yeah, they're activations, aren't they?
Yeah, probably activations if they're coming from my heart. But this is why I don't. When people say, what can you say about yourself? I don't know whether that's just me not realizing, or I just like to say I'm me. This is what I do. So don't put labels on things or say, I can do this, or I do that. So it's but yeah, activations, I suppose, especially if I'm working along the moons. I get the urges with the new moon. I get the urges more than the full moon.
And is there always geometry in them, or is that
Yeah,
shape?
I find when I'm doing there's been a couple that no, it hasn't necessarily been geometry as such, and they're usually the Lionsgate ones, to be honest. They tend to make me draw literally like to me it's like I'm drawing a new layout of a star system each August for some reason. Very powerful, the way that I feel it. But the others mostly geometry, and then the colours are always significant in my pictures as well with what I do.
Do you paint the colours?
I use they're like paint pens.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think to use a paintbrush, there's too many little things. So I use what paint pens. There's the thick end and the thin end, but they're all free. They're all freehand.
So it's kind of like, this kind of thing. It's not got a brush on the end of it.
Yeah, the thicker end's it's more like a brush, and then the thin end it's more like a felt tip.
Oh, right.
So that you can do a little bit of both. But it's mainly just compasses, rulers, and whatever's coming.
Do you get your protractor out as well?
I do, because it all has to meet. I enjoy it. That's the bit I enjoy about it so much.
Yeah.
Is having everything that meets and it's symmetrical. I love symmetrical. And I'm like, hey, why do you like it so much? Because I can look at a beautiful view and it can be the most amazing thing. But when I'm drawing, I want to draw symmetrical. It has to match. I just don't feel right. Yeah. That's probably similar to your mirroring when you do your, yeah.
Yeah, I love the symmetry of it. I love
Oh, it's beautiful.
Balance
Yeah.
of it. And Lionsgate, yeah, I've had quite a few big activations happen at Lionsgate. Because when I bring the energy in and do grid work, there's a lot of body movement. So there's kind of like, different mudras. They look like mudras. I don't know if they're the same as mudras. It's like, and it's almost like I'm holding certain frequencies as well. It's almost like playing a harp.
I do a little of that. I do know what you mean. I do a little of that. I wouldn't say there's anything like mantras, like you said, going on. It's like I have to. I feel I have to grasp something sometimes, whether I'm pulling it down, whether I'm pulling it across, and there'll be different ways that I relate to that very much. That again, that must be the frequency, maybe then.
Yeah, I think so. And do you do that when you're on the hill, or is it too exposed to do that?
The hill, once I'm at the top, it's actually quite private. I chant a lot at the top, and I do a lot of the movements. It's like a well that's not filled in at the top of this hill as well. So I also stand on that because I feel there's almost like a dome that I feel comes over the whole hill, So I'll do what I need to do. Obviously, if there's people around, then I just might sit on the thing rather than stand on it. But where my other places that I go, when I'm planting, for sure, I always get some hand actions that go with the actual planting of my intentions. It's working with the frequencies, I think, on that one.
Something that came through for me the other day. One time in Byron Bay when I was still in Australia, it was activating like an octahedron, a crystalline octahedron node, and this is some of what I work with. And it was out in the ocean, and it was like it was buried in the ground. And at first I thought it was a pyramid, and I was raising this pyramid. But as it started to rise, I was aware that it was actually an octahedron, so like two four-sided pyramids together. And that at the time was one of the hardest activation. It took the most energy to do that activation. It was huge, and I really felt it.
Yeah.
And the dolphins were very present for that one as well. And it was raining, it was drizzling, I was under an umbrella, and I was it was that fine wet rain that really gets you wet.
It really wets you through.
And I was getting a bit like, oh, I'm kind of over this now. Can I go home? And I said to the universe, if you want me to do more, let me know, show me a sign. And two dolphins, well, I know one dolphin for sure, but I think there was two, but one of them jumped out of the ocean like vertically, and I've never seen that before or
Oh
since.
wow.
I know they do that. I was like, okay, I'll carry on. But because it was raining and I was at the back in the shade, well, in the trees. Normally I'm there for the shade, but it was raining. But because of the rain, nobody actually walked in front of me while I was doing the activation. And normally there's a fair few people walk to
Yeah.
and fro on the beach as well. And what I was given yesterday was that I just activated another of these kind of diamond crystalline octahedrons here. But they're huge, they're absolutely massive. And it was really quite, and I was like, oh, I've just done that, because it was actually quite easy, especially compared to knowing that I'd done that previously.
You've done the first year.
Yeah, and that was 3 years ago. I don't think it was this time of year. I think it was a little bit later. It was winter in Australia, so it was our summertime. And I seem to remember it was fairly cold. I do think it was winter, but I can't remember what month. But it was just interesting. And a lot of the work that I do, it's kind of like a web. So there's a lot of spider energy that I've been connected with as well. But it's like I'm weaving a web.
Yeah.
And with this kind of stuff as well, it's it's almost like I'm weaving like these energy fibers, as it were, these energy threads are coming through my hands, and I'm kind of weaving them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why I'm drawn to tell you that. So yeah, if
It might
anything,
be so it makes a bit more sense to me why my hands are moving when I
yeah,
feel the urge. Maybe,
and
yeah.
about the octahedrons as well, there feels like there's some relevance to you in that as well.
It was, I think, we've said since the first time we started to speak there, there's something about York. When you mention that, I'm still being pulled to York. I think we at some point will be drawn to meet
Yeah,
in York, and there'll be work there to be done. And then it's almost like we've completed this phase of whatever what we're building as a. You're doing sort of one area. I'm kind of working on there.
yeah,
But then we've all been drawn as well. But it's going to be vocally as well, aren't we? Going to be at some point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That'll be a great place to meet, and it's such strong energy in York as well. Um,
I don't know why, York. I don't know whether you agree, but I just since the first chat that we had, I just knew that we would be meeting in York at some point to do some collective work. But yeah, it is a beautiful place though. You're right. It is gorgeous.
yeah, and such like so much history there. There's so much has gone on, like
Yeah.
battles and all that kind of stuff as well. Like a lot of the energy is quite funky there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
strong, like strong ley lines.
Definitely. Definitely. I agree with that one. Yeah. So I think it'd be interesting actually to find out, once we do get to the York stage, what we experience in that moment. Because I know what we experience on our own, but when you're getting pulled to do a similar work with another person,
Yeah,
um, I would assume that it would be quite a powerful moment that you'd be having. So it'd be quite interesting to see when the time comes,
mm.
see what that's all about.
And one other thing that I wrote down when you were talking about the pictures that you do, you said certain numbers come through. Is that to do with like the geometry, the
Yeah.
numbers? Yeah.
Yeah, like it will start with 4, and I'll be like, 4 what? Because that's not very helpful. I'll be like, 4 what? So then then I'll know it's 4 inches, it's 4 centimeters, and then that will work as well. But there'll be a theme of 4 throughout the whole thing.
Oh
If the
wow.
theme's 8, there'll be a theme of 8 throughout the whole thing. So it seems to be, and whether you change that then, so if it's 2, it could be an area of it that suddenly turns to 22. So the numbers that they flow through definitely. And there's work that I do when I'm doing the spirals. I'll do like spirals, and how like the bubbles that I tend to pop on there, how many and where are also significant to the picture, you know,
Yeah.
to what's going down.
Do you share your work online?
Not much. Not much, no. Because they don't, you know, it's I the keeper of the codes, I do like to put the odd thing in there because I appreciate the work. So if I appreciate their work, they're going to appreciate mine. So then I just feel, but I don't actually feel there's anywhere else really that it would kind of just slot in. It just be like, oh. But no, not yet, not yet. But maybe I should when I get the call-ins each month. I should start to post them with a few words.
I'm going to put your name into Keepers of the Codes and pull up some of your work.
That'd be nice.
No, I'd love to see it. And that one that I did see, I was like, whoa, I didn't know that you did that. So yeah, I really felt the power of it.
I'll send you some after. I'll
Ooh,
go
yes, please.
through my phone, yeah. Some are just, there's not much picture, it's just light language that's like in a picture, drawn in a. Others, it's just circle of life that's again coded into a picture. A few of those. Yeah, I'll send you a few. I'll send you a few afterwards. Have a look through.
And do you draw spirals on them as well?
Some of
Sometimes?
them,
Yeah.
yeah. But by the time I've actually drawn the picture, sometimes the spiral's gone. But I know that the intention of the spiral is in that picture. So the frequency that's in there. I've done it for presence. I've done the frequency of love, and I've done it under the like the. It's been an expression, a picture or a painting of an expression. But when they put it up on their wall and know that it's love that's up on their wall because I've put, you know, so yeah, there's a spiral in it, and I'll work with the intention on top of that.
Hmm. That's interesting you say that because I moved this today for some reason. I was like, that needs to be present tonight. Um, and I was an admin for Keepers of the Codes when Hannah stepped down from kind of running it, and she brought a few admins in. And I hadn't said that I wanted to be an admin, but she thought I had. So she put me in as an admin. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, clearly I'm meant to do that. And we
Yeah,
took it in turns to do a code each that would be, you know, like the banner for Keepers of the Codes. And that one was mine. And it was love. That was all about love. I wanted to bring, because at the time there was an interesting energy going on in the group, and there was quite a lot of antagonism, and a lot of the admins were getting a bit of abuse as
yeah.
well.
Every now and again, it goes through waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring a love code in to kind of like balance that out a bit, and
That's,
that was the one that came.
oh,
So I just
beautiful.
think that interesting that you've got love in your background there, and I've got love in my background there, and it's only just now that I've kind of
Oh yeah,
registered that. Interesting.
very.
Now, Shaz is with us as well, and I know we're kind of over time, but do you work with Metatron?
I have been feeling it more. Again, it's something I feel, but not working with. Um, I'm at a point now where I've had a little bit of a step back and I've done whatever, and it's almost like I feel I'm having another um
Yeah,
like, come on, you know. So I think if you know another 3 or 4 months down the line, there'll be a lot more that I'm going to be doing, because I just the pulls and the repetitive pulls are getting ridiculous now. So these are all things where I either need to learn myself or research or do a bit more meditation. I need to bring those energies a lot stronger into towards myself.
mm-hmm.
I think because I've just done for a fair few months now, I've just pushed everything away, you know. So even spirit, because I can say I can feel even just, you know, sort of like your nans, your granddads, your just normal spirit as well.
Yeah.
So I've even just gone, no, nothing, don't want nothing. So but I'm just now at the point where I'm like, okay, so I'm just opening everything up again at the moment and getting going.
And I think that's fair enough, because you know it's a big thing to go through as well. So I think that's awesome, actually, that you've just been taking time for you and just been focusing on you.
Yes, I do. I mean, at the time, I felt it was the only thing I could do.
Yeah.
But now on reflection, I actually feel in a better place, a better place for it. A bit more focused on what I want to do, a bit more confident.
Yeah.
So it's done me good in the long run. So yeah. And I've got my dad on my side now anyway, because he's with me all the time.
Yeah. When my dad died when I was in my 20s, it was quite interesting because he came to me in dreams. And at the time, it was part of my awakening, but I was still pretty much of the thought that this is all by chance. When you're dead, you're dead. But he was very alive in my dreams, and it was kind of like, whoa. And I was still a nurse at this time as well. In fact, a few patients did used to come to me in my dreams as well. Um, but with my dad, it was interesting, and I remember saying to him, "But you're still alive. You're still around. You know this." And these dreams were more real, or at least as real, if not more real, than this is.
And this, yeah.
And I remember saying to him in one of the dreams, I'm going to have to write to all the medical journals about this because they've got it all wrong.
In mine, I think what upset me the most, we knew my dad was ill. We certainly didn't expect him to be passed when he did, but I knew a year ago, well, the year previous, I knew that my dad had a year left. But who wants to believe that, right? Who actually wants to acknowledge that? So I pulled it out. But the actual day that he passed, I was with my other half, and weren't feeling right. Just wasn't feeling right. I was having these pains. I was like, oh, I just started to lie down. He says, my gosh, had the phone call. My dad passed. It's like I felt my dad's death.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that was like, why did you do? I was so angry with the universe. Why did I have to feel that? You know, why couldn't you have just not spared me that?
Yeah.
Because when it dawned on me, because we're talking like minutes afterwards, the whole thing, I got the phone call, your dad's been, and then another phone call 5 minutes later, he's gone, you know. So it's like, why, you know. So I got a bit angry at that, but then after that, there's certain things you can block it off. But I find when it comes to my blood relatives, it's too strong.
Yeah.
You feel what they're feeling, whether you like it or not. I wasn't particularly thinking of him that day, you know, but it's so, yeah, it's, but now again, you know, I use it as um it was a gift that I felt. That I have to look at it that it was a gift instead of getting annoyed with it. But it is.
Have you ever done readings for people?
Yes, yeah. And I'm an intuitive speaker, so I can just start and waffle. And you know, but yeah, I don't do it so much these days. It was more a time when I didn't know I was speaking it, but then as the time's gone on and you look at the lives of the people that you give readings to, and then you get testimonies again that everything you've said or you've done, or you know, that they all have happened, or they all have manifested, or, but yeah, but not so much now. I do it without knowing I do it. I will get the urge that I need to reach out to somebody today.
Yeah.
I'll end up giving them a bit of a reading, but it won't be I'm giving you a reading. I would just put it into words. I'll put it into a conversation. So I don't label it as a reading, but yeah, I definitely get the pull sometimes just to contact a certain person. And like, even through solitude, many a times I've never spoke to people before, I've never whatever, but on that day I've been, you know, and they've gone, oh, I'm so glad you've messaged me today. I can't believe, you know, and it's little things like that
Yeah.
that I get pleasure from.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share before we bring this to a close? This has been really lovely chatting.
It has been really lovely. We've not for ages. Um, no, I think we'll do it again, and we'll save some more to speak about another time for sure.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for everybody who's watching. It's been really lovely.
Yeah, thank you. It's been it's been an absolute pleasure for me. We've had, it's varied the number of people, but we've had 11 a lot on here, which is my numerology. It's Shaz's numerology as well. So yeah, thank you to everybody who's watched. And thank you to everyone who will be watching on the replay as well and on YouTube. So this is Rebecca Williams. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Denise. It's been a pleasure.
And yeah, maybe we should meet up sooner rather than later once we can do.
Yeah, I didn't realise actually how close we were. I thought you were a bit further the other side of Yorkshire.
Yeah, and it takes me like it's about half an hour from the coast here, but I'm fairly close to York. Like I don't have a car, but on the bus it takes about an hour.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to have to make it doable, aren't we? Yeah. There's no excuses when we live in the same county. There's absolutely no excuses. So yeah, we'll make that happen. That'll be lovely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, my dear. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop the live stream. Thank you, everybody. Namaste.